Hi, my name is Joanne Cornell and I'm from Arosa's Creations, and I just got finished doing two-part epoxy and silicone molds on a bunch of different things. I was doing a little bit of experimenting because I know what I want to do, and so I had to figure out how to do it. So this is what I did. First of all, things that you want to know is when you're filling a two-part or mold that has a top part and a bottom part of the mold silicone, you want to fill it and then you want to wait until it settles a little bit, fill it some more. Also, if you're doing more molds, a bunch of different molds, you want to do the two-part ones first before the one-part molds, because the two-part molds have a top to it and you need to be able to have it settle, and then you need to add a little bit more in order to get it, so make sure it definitely goes to the top. Because some of it does leak out on the sides a little bit. So that's that. An hour is pretty much what it took in order for it to get kind of hot enough where it wasn't going to be able to be poured anymore. And that's room temperature at, let me see, I think I got it at the house at like 63. So there's that. I tried to do a ring, but my ring failed because my cup is, and the bezel cup is not soldered to the back plate. This is not my personal ring that I made. This is a ring that was already made by somebody else, and what happened is my stone fell out. I couldn't find it, and I was going to replace it, and any of the gemstones that I have right now are not the right size. So then when I was thinking about doing this two-part epoxy with the cremations, I decided that I'm going to do that in the ring and see how it works, because I want to be able to show people what it looks like, and this is going to be the best way to do it because I can wear my ring and have it on there. I also want to do some pieces where it's going to look like beach scenery, so it's going to be a square mold and it's going to be a thin piece. And then it's going to look like a beach scenery, so I'm going to have the ashes on the bottom, and then I'm going to have the sky, and I'm going to have the moon. So what I tried to do is did it in here, but I tried to do it with the ashes on the bottom, and then the sky in the middle, and the moon on the top. But what I tried to do it with all at one time. What happened is it ended up the sky and the sand, the moon and the sand and the sky all kind of blended in. It wasn't staying in its sections where I wanted it to. So I'm going to be doing that differently. So what I did is this little mold, it's round. It's round. I have yellow epoxy, two-part epoxy in there, and that's going to be my sun. And then this one here, what I did is epoxy, and I put it's square. What I did is put the epoxy in there, and then I put the cremations in this one. And then I'm going to take and put that, I'm going to slice this up so it's thin pieces. And so I'm going to put that in the corner, so it's the sky. And then I'm going to put, so it's the sun. And then I'm going to put this piece down on the bottom, so it'll be the sand. And then I'm going to pour the blue two-part epoxy in there to hold it all together, and then that'll be the sky. That I think will work. And then if I really want to, I can take and put a little bit of white and just drop it into the blue sky and let it be clouds. So I think that's going to be good. Made more epoxy than I thought I needed for this mold. I'm still not sure how much epoxy I need for this mold. I did make it, and then what I'm going to do is as soon as I'm done with this and I take it out of here, which is going to be 24 hours from now, I'm going to measure water and just keep measuring water and figuring out how much damn epoxy I need to put in there. I thought I read somewhere that it needed 15 ounces, but when I did 15 ounces, I ended up coming out with, actually I did more anyways on purpose, so maybe it is 15 ounces. This might be the extra that I did. So do yourself a favor. I never wear gloves. I try never to wear gloves when it comes to doing any of my art stuff, but I'd wear gloves if I were you, only because my hands, even after about like 5 or 6 washings already, is still sticky and kind of yucca feeling. So, don't want to do that. Put some cardboard or newspaper on your counter before you start, because otherwise you're going to end up with slime on it, which isn't going to hurt anything because this is my cutting board, and epoxy on a cutting board is just going to seal it a little bit. So it ain't going to matter when it comes down. It's not, for me, it's not going to make a difference on this. But if you're doing it on a nice countertop or something, you don't want to ruin the countertop. So I made a pyramid. I made a gemstone piece. I made 3 pendulums. I made the sun and the sand for the other thing, and then I also made a spear. But I ran out of epoxy on the spear, so and it started getting hard, and so I can't pour into that little hole. I still gotta find some funnel. I gotta find a little funnel that I can take that's just as tiny as these little holes in order to be able to pour it in there and have it so I'm not having to free pour, because that's what I was having to do, is free pour, and that was not cool. What else? I am going to let these dry. When they're all done drying, I will post pictures. So I'm going to post pictures and this at the same time. I'm not going to bother posting this now and then making you wait in order to do it. So when I open up, I'll do this video, post this video and the next video with pictures on how everything turned out as soon as, in 24 hours I'll do this. So when you are seeing this, you're going to be able to see this, and then you're going to be able to see the other video, and then the other video. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different little videos. So, things you need. Let's do a video on things you need really quick, because it's only 7 minutes. So what I did is I ended up buying a 2-pot mold for the dice holder. Dice holder is got the lid here, and then it's got the base here. So the base here, when I flip it upside down, it's going to have a hole in there, or like a cup in there, and then I'll be able to put dye. I already tried to put the dice in there because I wanted to see what it was before I put the silicone in there and everything else. It was all completely dry, and I can take and put 20 D20s in there that are the small ones. Magic the Gathering regular size D20s. And then Magic the Gathering, the bigger ones that come in the fat pack, which is now called the bundle. Those, you can put 10 of them in there. So if you're putting 6-sided die in there, or Dungeons and Dragons set, you could put a whole Dungeons and Dragons set of die in there, because I think there's like 7 of them in there, and then you can still put a couple of D20s in there, big ones, the small ones. You know what I mean? It's like it's a good sized cup in there. So 2-pot mold cost me like 20 bucks. I think it was like 17, 18. Then I also bought these other molds, and that was, I think it was like 16 on that. 2-pot resin I bought. 2-pot resin I bought was $90. I bought a big thing of it because it was cheaper to buy a big thing of it than it is to buy a small and then keep buying the small containers. So I saved up in order to get the big containers of the 2-pot epoxy. They come with the pumps. So now you can pump out what you want for a measurement. And then I bought the coloration. The colors, dyes is, I think it was like $12, $13. This is all on Amazon. And then bought gold glitter. I'll buy silver glitter later, but I bought gold glitter. And if I remember right, it was like $8 or $9. I'll have to check, and I'll give you prices and put them down on the bottom. Oh, I didn't show you the color. So this is what the die set looks like. 36 colors are all in there. And I put them upside down so I can see what color it is, because the lids are all black so you can't see nothing. And I kind of don't want a little shelfie thing or something in order to do that. So that's where it's in there. And then, of course, if you're going to do the two-part epoxy and you wanted to put the cremations in there, you would definitely need the ashes. And when you have the ashes, you're definitely going to want to do the ashes. And then I took them out with a spoon. Of course, there's the spoon that I took out the ashes with. And I put it in a strainer. This is actually from Amazon too. It's for my herbal tea. It comes on a 2 in a set. And so I'm using one for cremations and one for my tea. And then a bowl, because when you're straining it, you strain it out into the bowl, and that way you'll have it in there. Those are the things I needed. I also bought some silicone, which is still coming in the mail. Hasn't arrived yet. A little delay on Amazon, which usually doesn't happen, so I'm okay with it, because most of the time I get the stuff within 1 to like 7 days. So this one's taking a little bit longer. I will post pictures of everything when it's done, give you little comments on what I should and shouldn't do, how they worked. And I think that's it. You have a great day. I hate these videos, but I need to do them, and I need to get used to it. No.